I gotta be honest with you guys. This might be the first Guerlain fragrance that we've touched on the channel, which is crazy because I've been wanting to get my nose on some Guerlain for a long time. I've heard a lot of fragrances kind of get mentioned on websites, or not websites, but YouTube channels in regards to just how good and classic it is. I don't know much background about the DNAs and all that stuff. I just know I've been wanting to come across it. And as of the shooting of this video, or as of the time of the shooting of this video, we finally have a few of them in. So we're going to talk about one of them today. Strap up. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening, and today from the house of Guerlain, hopefully I'm saying that right. Looks like Guerlain, Guerlain, however you want to accent it out. We have L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Now, just to be clear, because I know there's a lot of different versions, right? We have L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum, we have L'Homme Ideal Extreme, we have L'Homme Ideal Parfum, and we have original L'Homme Ideal. Now, as far as, and we also have L'Homme Ideal Intense. Oh, wow, and L'Homme Ideal Cologne. Wow, this goes forever. L'Homme Ideal Sport, L'Homme Ideal Cool, L'Homme... Okay. As far as I feel like the Parfum Extreme and Eau de Parfum and Ideal Original are somewhat in the same wheelhouse, but I don't know, guys. I already have a headache looking at Fragrantica about it. Let's just get into this. This is Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Okay? It's not extreme. That's probably the only nuanced distinction I need to make. Now, I love Scent Decant because you can order 1 or 2 mLs, and it comes with an atomizer. It's not the easiest thing in the world unless you have tiny little hands to use it, but you still can spray it on your skin, spray it on your clothes, spray it on the test strip, and get a nice wearing experience. If I remember correctly, this should have something like a cherry almond type vibe, classic, slight fougere. And I'm excited to get my hands on some cherry because if that's the case, it feels a little bit in the air like cherry. I'm excited to get my hands on it because the only cherry fragrances we've come across so far is like Lost Cherry and like Banana Republic's Dark Cherry and Amber. So it's good to have some like actual like full-blown perfumery done with the note of cherry. Opening thoughts on this fragrance, I definitely get cherry. And I'm trying to put your nose on it because the real question people want to know is what is different about this cherry note than like Dark Cherry and Amber or Lost Cherry from Tom Ford? Because we're very familiar with those. Even like a Dossier Cherry, which is copying Tom Ford. I feel like that cherry in the Tom Ford feels somewhere between real and synthetic. Banana Republic's feels synthetic, even though it's slightly darker in tone. This feels like eau de toilette, fresh, airy cherry. Like it's not super hyper real in my face, but it's nice. It's very nice. It's like almost like a cologne take on cherry chapstick. This is the least synthetic out of the bunch for me. It has a very classical tone to it. And then there's stuff in the background. I can't quite identify. I don't know if it's nutty or like almond or some other kind of nut or woods. I don't know what's in the background, but the cherry has a bit of, it feels like almond and cherry. That's what, like impulsively, that's what I want to say. But it's cherry and something else tinging it to have a different slant of cherry. But the cherry is like the dominant forefront of the fragrance. I think maybe there could be some citrus or some earthiness in this. I'm not quite sure, but that's all I have on initial impressions. Let's slide over to the window here. The cherry's very sweet, by the way. Okay, so here we go. Almond on the top, spices, lavender, bergamot, rosemary, thyme. Let's just walk through the top. I get rosemary, bergamot, lavender, spices, and almond. Shocking to say, but I get elements of all of that. Thyme, maybe, but not distinctly. Cherry, absolutely. Vanilla, not so much. Incense, not so much. Bulgarian rose, I can feel that, like softening up the cherry. Remember I said earlier, the cherry note is more, it feels more natural, a little less synthetic pungent-y, you know? And I think that's probably largely due to the brush of incense and Bulgarian rose. And then in the base, we have leather, tonka bean, and sandalwood. Let me tell you guys something, like, right away. I think where Guerlain got it right, and what I mean by got it right is you got to consider the fact that cherry and almond will be a hard fragrance to sell to people who don't like cherry, right? It's the same reason why not everybody is a Creed Aventus lover. If you don't like pineapple and lemon, there's no getting past that. I don't care how expensive the fragrance is. I don't care how dense it is. You know what I'm saying? But this is where I think they played it right. They contrasted the right amount of energy in a different direction with this. Notice we have incense and we have leather. Okay? So those are the three, like, those are the two notes that provide the contrast. The complementary notes to cherry and almond is going to be your spices, your florals, and your citrus. And they took it even further as far as to make green. And I think that adds to a more interesting cherry note, right? This isn't just any old cherry. It's very cherry. Let me just say that, you know, 6 out of 10 in terms of dominance of the fragrance. Just to give you guys kind of like a pie chart here. It's like 60% cherry, maybe even 65, 70. Then that 30, 35% though is split down the middle. You have like 15% this incensey, leathery tonka. And then the other 15%, you have this lavender, spices, bergamot, florals going on in it. I think in the base, I think on dry, I'm stuttering because all my videos are live. So you're hearing my mouth going slower than my brain. You know what I'm saying? And this is probably the first time you guys have ever seen me jacketed out on here because it's cold out here. For the first time in a while, it's cold in Arizona. You get all those notes from Fragrantica in the opening. But I think upon dry down, what you're left is with a super fresh, airy, half real, half synthetic cherry almond. Probably the most real cherry I've smelled yet out of the references I mentioned. You get cherry, you get almond, you get slight spice, you get slight incense, you get super fresh floral uplifting. You don't really get leather, but you get the incense and it kind of drags you to a leathery type of sophistication, but it's mostly a fruit floral fragrance with kind of this mature base, if that makes sense. And I think it needs that base because without it, you would truly have something that feels feminine. This is like when I've said in my past videos how it's kind of like when a man wears more pastel colors or like a salmon color or khaki instead of dark wash, you know, dark brown, navy, black. He's going slightly champagne colored, stuff like that. This is a very mature man who's getting playful with nuance. In this case, cherry. Like, look at me. I'm a man. I can rock cherry and still make it look good, right? It's only going to fit a certain type of person. But I think the incense and the a woman, let me see, hold on a second. This is a fragrance geared towards men by the perfumer, but you can wear anything you want. Let me wait for a second. Yeah, I mean, it would take a really bold woman to rock a fragrance like this. I think the base, you know, being incensey and leathery, might lean masculine. I do think this is what I would call a unisex fragrance that strongly leans masculine, but there are such elements of it, just the fact that it's dominantly cherry, vanilla, almond, and floral, that make me say, no, women could rock this. But there is a great base of like this leathery incense and that just feels like If it didn't have this, you could not call this a men fragrance. Anyways, okay, let's go through the usual suspects. I think overall this fragrance for me is like an 8. Maybe 8. I hate giving 0.5s. That is so annoying to me when people say 9.2, 4.5, 8.7. Like, that doesn't help. It doesn't help anyone when you go to the decimal in a rating. Like, just be confident. No one's going to hate the fact that you said an 8, but you might have meant that it leaned towards a 9. Just say 8 or 9. Or say, you know what, it's 8, almost a 9. You don't got to break down the math like that. No one cares. And it just sounds weird. It looks like you don't even know what you're talking about. This fragrance, again, to me personally, is like a strong, strong 8. And the reason I feel like that is because it's got a unique factor. It's one of the more unique cherry fragrances I've tried. It does feel like what this does, unlike other cherry fragrances so far, is it actually does have a strong sense of masculine edge to what seems like a feminine fragrance. It's soft, but it also has its edgy sophistication. It has nuance. The opening's absolutely masterful. This is one of those fragrances you apply it twice in the day because you want that first hour of projection to get all those notes. But yeah, it's a nice fragrance. One thing, well, actually, I'll tell you guys the alternatives in a second. But well done, Guerlain. I'm sure the Extreme is probably even better. L'Homme Ideal Extreme. This fragrance seems like, I don't know why they would have made so many renditions of it, but as far as the EDP, it's thumbs up in my book. I give it a strong 8. I hesitate to go into the 9 category because even though it has uniqueness, I think performance isn't going to be that great. Inside 8 hours for sure, maybe even 6 or less. But I don't know, cherry and almond, even though it's unique, it's not like crazy unique. You know what I'm saying? It's just unique what they did with that particular note profile. So it's got some star power, but it isn't the most complex smelling fragrance. And even in its simpleness, it just kind of gets the job done. And it's definitely above average. It's a fragrance I would own, absolutely. And in fact, I'll explain in a little bit. I pretty much do. I think this could go for. This could go for all ages, but I think once you creep past 30, you really have to question what the utility is going to be. Some stuff smells really great in the air, but might not have enough application for you. As an older man, where would you wear this? You know what I'm saying? A playful fragrance that has a slight bit of seriousness to it. What are you going to do with cherry? You know what I'm saying? Is that going to be like a date nighty type fragrance? You're going to come off younger. Can't really wear it semi-formal, formal. Maybe you're going to like a theater or something. You want to have a standout type of scent. No, you don't think anybody's going to be rocking cherry and almond, but you have a masculine take on it or something like that. I don't know. You'd really have to process through the utility of a fragrance like this. But let's see how much. Again, I think this could be ageless, but I'll say you have to start. You got to start at least 20 and up. For this fragrance, 20 and up. I think an ambitious young guy might really take a liking to this, especially since it's so sweet. It's going to give him kind of like, this is almost like cherry champagne with a little bit of incense, not as much leather. So for those of you at home, think about it like that. This is like a cherry champagne with touches of incense and the tiniest bit of almond and leather. The spices aren't spicy, but they're spicing, for lack of better words. Anyway, 8 out of 10 fragrance, 20 and up. I think this would shine in cold weather, but because it's got a fresh kind of spritz to it, I think it could make a case for any season, any reason. Don't wear it in high heat, but you could certainly wear it indoors or like on a decent day with a little waft in the air. Fragrances like this go for and I was almost going to say $50. 100 ml goes for $55. That ain't bad. That ain't bad, guys. I mean, I think it's a really well-made formulation. I would pay that. I think totally it's worth it. I might lean towards Ideal Extreme just to get the full extent of it if you're going to go there. But if you want more of the lighter feel, the Eau de Parfum Concentrate is pretty nice. What's Fragrantica saying about the performance? Hold on, guys. Wait a minute now. I'm not. Oh, here we go. Um, longevity is decent. I think you might get at least 6 to 8 hours out of this. You know, moderate projection, decent sillage. It's nice, guys. It's nice. Cherry champagne with a little smoke under it, you know? It's just kind of something whether you be in it or not. If you don't like cherry, don't even play with something like this. But if you're open to cherry, feeling more masculine and champagne-y, you know, classy, it's got a nice classic touch to it. Absolutely. 55 bucks is a smoking deal for 100 ml. I'm interested to see if, matter of fact, I'm looking at my screen a lot. Why don't you guys just come with me? Fragrance by CA. I'm interested to see if they got it. They have to, right? Sold out. Going for 142 USD, but when we go back to is Joma going to be the only low price? Yeah, so it's sitting around 55, 60 for the 100. You can go half, but why go half for 50? That makes no sense. You're going to get the 100. That's a smoking deal right there, guys. That's the EDT, but I mean, I'm sure you could get the EDP as well. Let's see. All this stuff's sitting around 60 bucks. 81, that's crazy. That's crazy work. 85, 3.3 ounce. Okay, let's just get past it. You know, you guys don't really care. Prices change. You know, at the time of this video, maybe a year down the road it drops. I don't want to add too much about price. But hey, here's what I'm going to say. I just got in recently a Fragrance World dupe. And we're going to do a full episode on this, but why not crack it to you guys early? I just got this like yesterday. This is Supreme L'Homme from Fragrance World. Supreme L'Homme Extreme, actually. So this is L'Homme Ideal Extreme. And I'm just going to give you guys a hot take. Like, maybe we have a good alternative on our hands here, and maybe we don't even have to worry about bottle price. The fact that the original is only like 55 bucks, though, that's a strong contender for why you might not buy the clone. You know what I'm saying? But let's just see what we're dealing with here as far as quality of the clone here. Again, this is from Fragrance World. I got this for 18 bucks, 100 ml. It's a nice classic looking bottle, guys. And when you look at the juice and the cap, you know, you get the cherry almond vibe for sure. Quality, presentation. I don't go over the box or anything like that. Nobody cares. Yo, is this an eau de parfum? Yeah, guys. I mean, if this fragrance were 25, 30 bucks as a clone, I would say just buy the original, because the original's like 50, 60 bucks. You get 100 ml, you get the real thing. But I had the real thing just now, and I'm smelling the clone that I got for 18 bucks, and it's almost dead ringer. This is Ideal Extreme. So Ideal Extreme versus Eau de Parfum, still really close. This might be a little bit better because it's extreme, but as a clone, even the EDP should beat it out. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's an older fragrance. When was this fragrance made? I can't believe this is a 20-minute episode. That's crazy, guys. I hope you're in the car driving and I'm the secondary noise in the background. 2016. Okay. So yeah, guys, I'm going to be real with you. Fragrance World's done it. Fragrance World gives you that vibe. Only thing I would say is maybe the other one, the almond, comes through a little bit more. The smoke from the incense comes through a little bit more, but I would easily call this 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 closest to the clone. It definitely gets the DNA. You won't wear this and feel left out. For me personally, I look at a DNA like cherry almond, and even though that's unique, I wouldn't call that a signature I would rock. I think a fragrance like this, you kind of just got to splash in your week. You know what I'm saying? You got to be feeling up to it. You know what I'm saying? You might rock this once or twice, maybe once every other week type vibe, or twice every other week. You know, cherry's not going to be something I want to be known for, but it's just something to be different. You know what I'm saying? Cold weather, but like I said, you can make a case for any season, any reason. Yeah, for 18 bucks, Fragrance World 100 ml bottle. I mean, dude, if it were me, I'd just get L'Homme Ideal Extreme. This is called L'Homme Supreme from Fragrance World. But, you know, for those of you who are sticklers about getting the air quote real thing, it's $55 for 100 ml. So you can go either way with it. But, you know, for me personally, due to the nature of the DNA and lack of versatility there, it's more of a time situational specific bust out for me, because I'm not like an insane cherry fanatic. It's more like a splash piece. Yeah, I'm more than happy getting the fragrance world. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. More importantly, turn on that notification bell so you guys can be aware of all the different times I drop episodes, typically at 6 a.m. or 12 in the afternoon Pacific time. We drop episodes every single day of the week. And even if we don't drop like on a Saturday or on a Sunday, I queue up another piece of content and go double on one day. We're dropping all kind of content. Let me know if you have L'Homme Ideal, and let me know which one you guys have. I'm sure many of you have EDT, many of you have EDP, and many of you have Extreme. Even though there's other ones, those are the three in the wheelhouse that I'm familiar with YouTubers talking about. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about it, and if any of you guys have the Fragrance World one for sure, but that's definitely valid, guys. I'm recommending the clone. Easily 9 out of 10. And when I do my full review, I'll look at it more closely to let you guys know if it's even higher than that. I lean towards calling it 9.5 out of 10 in terms of closeness, but I need to sit with the dry down a little bit more and spend some, do my due diligence before I start claiming. Once you get into the 9 category, it's like, okay, now you really got to pay attention to make sure you're not just telling somebody it's a 10 out of 10 when it dries down. It's really not it like that. But so far, I'm recommending the clone. But I also would highly recommend the original, because for $55, 100 ml, you really can't beat that for a fragrance, especially with this type of caliber. So anyways, guys, you guys are rocking with the scent bubble. This was Guerlain's. I almost pulled up this bottle to say it. This is Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. And I think it's a 8 out of 10. So have a blessed week. Till next time, take care.